Hey guys, okay, we're going to do a video of 1-15, why the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so let's take a look at what we did today in class. Okay, and what we did is we took this triangle here, okay, and we tore the corners off of him. Okay, not so tough now, are we? Evil triangle. Okay, and then what we did is we lined those up. We were able to line those random angles up, okay, to this line right here. And what that showed us is that the three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Okay? So now, this is physical evidence here of why these triangles add up to 80 degrees. It's also physical evidence of a triangle murder. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the actual proof that proves why triangles add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so what they told us here is that DE is parallel to AB, and that's all they told us. What they actually want us to prove is that angle 1 plus angle 3 plus angle 2 add up to 180 degrees. All right, we need to prove that. So let's start with this. Okay, the given, we're going to write that down first. Notice this time I'm kind of not marking stuff off first, and there's a reason for that. All right. So at first glance, right, are these angles here, 4, 3, and 5, look very similar to the three pieces of paper that we made. Okay, here's our mutilated triangle that lines up with the line, and if we look, this is the same thing. Okay, so I could say here that this angle, they're not congruent, so I don't want to mark them off. But this plus that will all equal 180 degrees. Okay? Then, on top of that, right, because these are parallel lines, I'm going to have alternate interior angles, this and that are going to be congruent. So, let's write that part up. All right? I'm going to say angle, let's start with the alternate interior angles. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 1, and angle 5 is congruent to angle 2, and that's because they're alternate interior angles. Alright, next we are going to point out that these angles, angle 4 plus angle 3 plus angle 5 equal 180 degrees. And that's because they're supplemental. Supplemental. Okay? Now, we've had this discussion before, right? This angle is congruent to angle 1, and this angle is congruent to angle 2. Right? There's angle 4 and angle 5. As a result of that, since these two angles are congruent to those two angles, I could actually substitute them. So angle 1 plus angle 3 plus angle 2 is congruent to 180 degrees, and that is because of the substitution property. And that, folks, is a proof why these triangles all add up to 180 degrees. Okay, next. Let me give you guys a quick hint on this one here. I know the tablet's a little shaky. I'm trying to peek up and make sure everything lines up here. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys just a hint here on this. What we want to do is we want to prove that BC and DE are congruent. So BC and DE. So when I look at that, what I want to do is I want to prove that this here is congruent to there. Notice, just for a record for yourself, I did not put the congruency marks on there because I don't know that. All right, let's see what I do know. I know that WX is parallel to YZ. So if WX is parallel to YZ, that means I have a bunch of alternate interior angles floating around. I can put little arrows here. Okay? And that's what I'm going to do. But what I want to do is I want to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So I'm going to do that by marking this off and that off. Okay, whoops. BC is congruent to DE is what we want. Okay, and then they tell us that BD, okay, BD, whoops, is congruent to CE. So that's given. So this is given, and this is an alternate interior angle. Okay, so from there, I have one more thing going on. I have a shared side. Okay? All right, so that's my hint to you guys for this here proof. Okay, I'm hoping that you guys can figure out the rest to get to your final statement. All right, guys, I hope you guys found the video helpful.